Hello everyone, Jonathan here from M Games, and I'm going to be remaking a tutorial I did a while back for Area2D collisions in Godot. So let's create a new project. Just say Area2D collision tutorial remake. And we're going to leave it on OpenGL ES 3.0. This is for more modern computers and modern Android devices. It might be better for OpenGL ES 2.0 if you have a lower end laptop or maybe an older tablet. So let's browse and create a new folder. Alright. Then we will create an edit. So we'll start us off in the default 3D scene. We don't need that. We are going to start out with a 2D scene. I'll just call this one main. And I'm going to click scene and then save scene as. And I like to create a assets folder. Then I will create a scenes folder. And then we'll just save that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this plus icon. Going to search up here for area. And there's Area2D. And I'm just going to, you can hold the spacebar and left mouse button click to pan around, or you can hold the middle mouse button and it will pan around like that. If you scroll your mouse wheel, you'll zoom in and out. Pretty basic stuff. Then we're going to, you can right click on nodes as well and add child node, or left click on your node and click the plus icon. We are going to create a sprite. Then we're going to click on texture, and click on load. We're just going to use the default icon. Then with our Area2D selected, click the plus icon and collision. Let's see here. Collision shape 2D. And you won't see anything. I'm going to click this eye to hide it for a moment. Then while we have the collision shape 2D selected, we're going to left click on shape and a new rectangle shape. We're going to click on the name. And then we'll set it to 32 by 32. And we will re-show our sprite. The sprite icon is 64 by 64, but for some reason the collision shapes, they use like half that size, and it's like bigger. So we're going to change this to like coin. Okay. Now we're going to drag this over. We're going to use the move button and just left click and drag that over. Now we've got a few options that we can mess around with. Going to left click on the coin, go down here to collision, and here's where things get interesting. So you have the layer, which this is what the coin will detect whenever something else collides with it. But you also have the mask, which tells it what it can and can't collide with. So it gets a little confusing, but duplicate that and we'll move it over. So let's see here. So if I were to set it to this, we have the first coin, which is set to a collision layer of 1. Then we have the second coin, which is a collision layer of 2, but it can detect collision of layer 1. So if layer 2 collides with mask 1, then there would be a collision event. So let's just move that over. I'm going to right click and I'm going to change the type of coin to, and we're going to set it up as rigid body. Rigid body 2D. And now coin 2 is going to fall down. We're going to give it a collision contacts reported and contact monitor. And the collision is still there. I'm going to just save all scenes. Then we're going to click the play scene, or you can press F6. And you'll notice it'll fall down, and it'll just keep going. So now, we'll just change this to block, so we can tell them apart. Yeah, we'll set it up like that. Now, if we go down to block, and then we scroll all the way down to the bottom in the inspector, we're going to click on the script. Then we're going to create a new script. I like to set this up to no comments. You might want comments on, or default, if you're first starting out. But for this tutorial, I'll just leave it like this. I'm going to create a scripts folder, and then just create. If you hold Control and scroll wheel, you can make the text bigger. And for the sake of this tutorial, yeah, we'll just move these over a bit. So, what I'm going to do, there are actually two ways of doing this. You can left click on your block, and then if you go in and go into node, you'll notice under signals you have body entered, body exited, and if it was over here on area, you get area entered, area exited, and body entered as well. Let's see here. So what you would do is you would left click on body entered, you'd click on connect, go over to block. This will be your main node with the script, and then it will create on body or on block body entered. Then you just connect and there it is. We'll just test that out real quick. I'm going to use a print, and then 2 quotation marks. Let's say collided. And if we play, nothing happened. And that is, let's see here. That's because we went with body entered. So let's disconnect body entered. We'd have to use coin, wouldn't we? In this moment, probably have to change this to either static. Yeah, we'll try static body. Try again. And there we go. It collided, but you'll notice because it was a static body, it has collisions. Now, what are we going to do with that? Alright, so I've moved the coin and the block to the same collision layer. They're both on layer 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the coin. I'm going to attach a script. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier, but instead we're going to have coin. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect area entered, self, and then this last one is going to be the function. So we're going to go with body hit. So we'll type in func body hit. And then over here, we're going to enter in body. So you can put in different variables here. So like if it had health points or damage or even position. And then in another function, you could go body hit, and then be like self 100, maybe 25 damage, and then position of vector 2, and then you could do like 32 and 32. And then every time in the ready function, whenever the game would start, it would run the body hit, and then it'd be connecting with itself. Then the health points would be 100, the damage would be 25, and the vector would be 32 by 32. But that's kind of advanced and not really needed for this tutorial. Just something fun to throw out there. So let's change this back to body. And we're going to print entered. And let's double check over here. Go back to this script. You can left click on that script. And since we're no longer connected, I'm just going to delete that. And now, see here, area entered. Actually, we probably want that to be body entered. There. Then we'll just play. And there you go. The area has been entered. What else can we do with this? We can also do an exit. Body exited. Body exited. We can copy this over. Oops. And it will be body exited. And then we'll just say exited. So entered and exited. So that's pretty simple, pretty basic, but then what if you wanted to have a specific object collide? You can type if is in group, and then quotation marks, and block. Then we'll go over to block, go to node, groups, and we'll say block. Then if we click play, nothing will happen. Wait, it exited, but nothing happened. Let's go back and check our script. If body.isInGroup. So we are now referencing our variable here. And if we play, it entered and it exited. Technically, I think you can do the same thing down here. But I'm not sure if that's proper or not. Yeah. Okay, so if I were to duplicate this block, and I'll put it up here, I'm going to delete that. Entered, exited, nothing happened with the other one. Let's move the first block over just in case. And there you go. That's how you detect if, like if you had player. And let's remove block 2, no longer needed. Move the block 1 back over here. Now for the fun of it, we are going to add a label. Put the label over here. And then down here, we're going to have score. See if we can increase the font. Like 32. Whereas I guess I don't have any fonts with me at this point, so I guess we'll just need to use a normal font for now. here we go. There. I'll just increase the size, although it's recommended to have your own font. I'll change this up to score. So now you can see the score. Now, I'll just go over here to, our player, or block, will have a variable of, alright, score. It will equal 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to get node. Alright. Type it the old-fashioned way. So what we're doing is we're going up above the block and we're grabbing score. And then text equals, we're going to give it a string, we're going to say score, then we're going to type in score. So play that, should say score 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new function. It's going to be score update. And we're going to do score. And every time this score changes, we're going to, we might want to change that to points actually. Then score plus equals points. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to update our label. Okay. Then if we go over here to coins, we're going to give it a export an integer var points, or point. We'll just start it out with like 3. Or maybe 1. We'll start out with 1, I guess. And then, whenever it's entered into this group, we are going to get body. And if we can remember what I had it set to, we're going to set the score here. Okay, and then this will be point. Okay, so now, there we go. We increased it by 1. And the way we did this, you should be able to go over to coin, then you can see the different points. You can change it to like 5, and it added it by 5. And then of course you can duplicate these. Oops. Yeah, I got the right one, didn't I? No, I got the wrong one, sorry. This will be interesting. I don't think this will work because I'm grabbing the wrong one. Yeah, that makes sense. Oops. We're going to grab the coin. We're just going to move the block up higher. Coin. Just give it something like that. And then the first coin is going to be set to 1. Next coin is going to be set to 2. Or, well, here. We'll set them all to 1. Okay. Test that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe we don't want the coins to exist after colliding. So then we will do self.queue_free. Or if you don't want to have self, you can just delete that. Doesn't really matter. And there you go. That's a simple way of controlling Area2Ds as well as the rigid body 2D. Thank you all for watching my short Godot 3.1.1 tutorial on how to use Area2D and rigid body 2D for collision detection. We also changed the label to show the score, and that was pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed it.